Welcome back to the Diary of a Single Mum. To all you newcomers, my name is Marian Sheikh Hussein. And to all you OGs, the ride or dies, the ones who literally started subscribing when I had like 5, I hope you're all doing well. I missed you guys. I missed you guys so much. Is it just me? Like, I've just been feeling so drained and tired lately. SubhanAllah. Like, I don't know. Obviously, London weather is giving grey, is giving, depression. So I get that. But I've just been feeling so tired, guys. Like, so drained, so exhausted. I feel like definitely I need to be taking breaks when I take videos. But inshallah, once my energy starts going up, I'm gonna have scheduled videos so that you girls can tune in and you know when to tune in. So yeah. So today's story time, I'm doing a story time today. This story time today is going to be about when my uncle from prison came to us in our flat when I was about 10 years old. He was such a weird guy. Still to this day, sometimes I think to myself, like, why did my mom let him stay with us? But, obviously I don't know the answer to that. He came and he rented a room in our flat. So there was this box room. And by this time as well, we were also quite new to the UK. That flat, yeah, had so many things happened in that flat. We had a racist attack in that flat because we lived in an area where it was very poor. A lot of the people that were living in the area were like white, poor, like uneducated white English people, right? They saw us. I remember they would be like, you packies. They thought we were packies, but that's going to be a story for another day. My uncle came to visit us and he was like kind of like a distant uncle. So my mum let him rent out a room. So he was paying her to stay in the room from what I remember. And basically, I remember his head was shaven. He was just so weird. Like, and he just had this like, I don't know, like sociopathic vibe. Like, I can't explain it, but throughout the story, you're going to see that this guy is nuts. And I think I mentioned him in one of my previous videos as well, that one of my uncles basically threw his wife out of the balcony. That's him, guys. That's him. He was nuts, darling. It was giving this guy's either a psychopath or something. So at that time, obviously, no one knew that he was going to go to that extent, right? And no one knew that he was actually like his wife, like no one knew that he was like hurting his wife, right, behind closed doors. His wife and his children were in another Scandinavian country, which is like another European country, right? And he came here because a lot of people used to move from Sweden, Germany, Holland, Norway, and come to the UK to stay here. I know that we came from Sweden. The reason why we came actually was because one of my aunties was here and my mom was feeling really lonely, I think, in Sweden. So we ended up coming here. Yeah. And that auntie ended up becoming I feel like that auntie, as much as like I love that auntie, it was just funny because when my mom first came, she didn't know that my auntie turned into a Christian. So when my mom came and we stayed at her house, right, like she had this white husband and he was so kind. Oh my gosh, like I can't lie to you, he's passed on now, he's passed away now, but he was just so lovely. Like he would get us halal food, like he would cater to us. But I remember when my mom first came, she didn't expect like that my auntie was not going to be Muslim, right? So we came at around the Christmas times and my auntie had like this Christmas tree and basically she would go to church on Sundays and my mom was like, my mom's so funny, wallahi. But yes, she came here for her cousin, right? Who ended up being a Christian, which is fine. I'm not saying anything, like trying to get in anyone's business or anything like that. It was just such a funny story because it was just unexpected from my mom. Anyways, when my mom came here, we end up getting a place to stay. We first lived in Leighton, I think. It's like, I don't even know where that is. It's quite far away from where we end up living. And then we got placed in a poor area of London, a little bit outside of London. And a lot of white people lived there, like druggies, all of that, you name it, they were there. So when they saw us, they were very like intimidated, I think. And they just didn't like us. And they made that like known from the get-go. So anyways, my uncle came to this house, this terrible place in our life that we was in, because it was like hardship after hardship was happening to us. And my mom literally had no one. She was by herself. So, and my mom was the type of person, don't get on her wrong side because she will fight you. I can't lie to you. If I have neighbors downstairs, yeah, for example, the neighbors downstairs, we don't get along, right? We just don't get along. And I just let them be. Like, I give them space, like whatever. Like, I don't even, before in the beginning, I was like, hi, and I say hello to them and stuff like that. And now it got to a point that I'm just like, okay, even when they make noise downstairs, like, and they fight sometimes, they're a lesbian couple, right? Like, they fight downstairs and stuff like that. One time I had to bang my foot on the floor, you know? And then she just literally complains about my children upstairs, like, and I'm just like, girl, the whole night, khamri ya cabaysa, like, meesha ku daadaadanaysa, ku dhacaysa, anina wax ma dhahoy. Do you know what I mean? Like, but way Absalan. So I just like, I feel like I have that energy where it's like, don't cross me in it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but my mom wasn't like that, you guys. Like, my mom would literally, you better not step to her. You better not step to her. Like, so my uncle came, he rented out a room. He was like really nice, but I don't know, I just got this vibe from him. Like, this, the first time I saw him, even though I didn't know that this guy was criminal, I found out later on that he came from prison, right? It's like, I don't know, I just didn't like his energy, you know, so I just used to keep away from him. And then one time, even though sometimes I used to talk to him, but I used to kind of like keep away from him. He got the box room, the small box room, and the door was quite open, and all we hear is like shh, 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 shh. So we're like, and then we go and we stand there and we see him painting the whole room black. He's got black paint and he started painting the walls black, right? We were like, Abdi, why are you painting it black? And he was like, do you know what that means? Like, basically it means he misses the jam and bread in prison. Basically, that's what he said. He misses the sandwiches in prison, and he basically wanted to relive that experience wherever he goes. So we were just like, what the hell? Like, by then I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna stay away from this guy. So he painted the room black, and then I remember he put like a white X in the middle of the room, and he was just saying, "Ha, wallahi billahi meshan. You know, when I'm here and the room is black, you know, I love it." Like, he was like, "I just love it. I just love it black. You know, I love the white cross in the middle. You know, it just makes me feel like I'm back there again. You know, like." And I was like, "Is this a joke?" At that time, I was just like, "This guy's joking, right?" But I was like, I was looking at him like he was the boogeyman because I was like 10 years old, right? So I was looking at him like he was he the devil. He's the devil. But he would stay in his room. He would keep to himself. And then he stayed with us not for too long. I think he stayed for like 2 weeks or something like that. In the end of those 2 weeks, because he was coming, like his family was coming to see him. At the end of those, I think 2 weeks, because it was so short the time that he stayed. So anyways, his family ended up coming. And I remember I was so excited because I was like, oh, I'm going to make new friends. And we did end up becoming like friends, us and his children. But that's when we started realizing that something's up. Like, something's up with this guy, because his children as well, like, they just looked really scared and like really closed off. When I opened the door, I never knew as a child that I've always been someone who's observant and intuitive. So like, I can feel something, like I can feel when someone's going through something. Like, I don't know if that's called an empath, but it's like, if I sense like a child is like crying or is sad or is feeling like something, you know, like I can feel it. And I was like that even as a child. Like, I was very observant, and I would look at people and I would listen to what people are talking to. I was the nosiest kid ever. And my mom used to be like, Naya, 9K hasawin. Like, whenever I used to like listen to what her and her friends are talking about, she used to be like, 9K hasaw garain. Basically what she means is like, don't call my number. Like, you know, like basically stop listening in on us, you know. I was just really observant. Like, I just used to like to see what's going on and just like observe. His family came. I opened the door, and I remember she was wearing one of those little hijabs, you know, those the hijabs that Somali girls wear when they're little. I feel like everybody has to transition from wearing that hijab, you know, like that small little one that you could just put on like that. So I opened the door for her, and I remember her just standing there, and I was like, hi to her, like, hello, because I was excited they were coming. My mom cooked lunch for them, you know? And I remember her face was just like dead ass, like straight, you know. And her eyes just looked quite kind of dead, to be honest. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, she just looked really like, just, I don't know if it wasn't registering when I was smiling at her. I don't know what it is, but we ended up becoming closer later in our teen years. Yeah, she just looked like she was just not responding, which is, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if that makes any sense. So anyways, They came in, and then she had two other little sisters. One was the middle girl, and she was so cute. I remember, I'm not going to say her name, but she's now in her 20s. But I remember when she was like 4, she was just beautiful little girl, but she didn't look anything like her dad. Like, she looked completely different from the family. And then there was the youngest one, who was kind of like a baby at the time, and the auntie, his wife, and she was so lovely as well. Well, like, she was so mesquite. They used to come and sleep over our house sometimes, and I remember, like, early in the morning before I went to school, like, she would literally braid my hair so nice. Just such a kind, she was a very actually kind-hearted woman. But unfortunately, she was stuck in a cycle where she felt like she loved this person, and in the end, it's sad, but like, that's how it ended up. Like, that's what ended up happening. Like, he ended up actually trying to attempt to, like, off her, because what else was he thinking to do if he was to throw her off the balcony? There's not nothing else. Yeah, she was just like, she saw me, she's like, how are you doing? I'm fine, alhamdulillah. But she also looked very, like, drained, very, like, low, like, just like, I don't know how to describe it, but you can tell when a woman has been beaten on, and a woman has been, like, kind of like oppressed, in her life. You can kind of tell that how they're, like, how they are, like, it's like they're almost very closed off, very scared and stuff. Because I know I was like that, even though my marriage wasn't anywhere near as bad as these, like, that couple, subhanAllah. Like, some people, that's the thing. Like, I feel like I'm so appreciative sometimes about the things that I have had to go through, because it's like, at the end of the day, I can't change it, number one. And number two, there are actually people that are worse off than you, and they're still alive and they're still surviving. It just shows you that life is still worth living, like, it doesn't matter whatever you've been through. And thank God, like, my children, father and me, like, and we are like, we have kind of like a co-parenting relationship now. I've kind of like forgiven, this person, but I'm never going to forget, even though this person saw it as him controlling me, he saw it as love. Like, he literally said that to me. He was like, it's because I loved you so much, that's why I was jealous, I was trying to da. And I was just like, but those are your insecurities, not mine. Anyways, going back to the auntie and her kids, they came in, we had lunch, we ate food, and like, the kids weren't really, like, engaging with us that much. But after like a few hours, we ended up going to the other room, and yeah, we ended up playing with them. But I remember the oldest girl, she must have been severely impacted, because I remember, like, her face was just very, like, she looked very numb, and she wasn't really laughing a lot or anything. I only started seeing her smiling and laughing after, like, I don't know, a few months later. And with children, like, they're always usually giddy, happy, smiley. But I was playing with the middle child a lot, and the middle child, she was so scared of her dad, because the dad is the guy that just came from prison, that painted the room black. She was so scared of her dad because her dad used to be kind of hostile towards her. And now that I think of it, I'm just like, I think it might be because she didn't look anything like the family. She was, well, I still till this day, she's gorgeous, and the whole family, like, the girls are gorgeous, all of them are gorgeous, but she didn't look anything like them. Like, she doesn't, I don't even think, I wouldn't say she doesn't look Somali, because Somali, like, we're a variety of people, we have a variety of different colors, variety of different shades, we all look like everybody's, mixed up. She just, yeah, she didn't look like the family at all. And he was really hostile towards her. And bear in mind, guys, like, this time, this girl was around 4 or 5. Like, now that I think about it, I have a 7-year-old, and I still treat her like a baby, like, I still talk to her like, and it's like, this girl was 5, and like, she's, like, anytime her dad would come, guys, she would, like, tighten her body, like, if we would get in the car, like, and he would drive us around, like, months later, sometimes when they would come and visit us, and like, he would we'd all get in this big car, and like, I remember whenever she would talk to him, like, she would just be like this, and I just never understood why. Like, I was just like, what the is going on? They ended up moving to wherever they moved to. They went, the auntie, did she stay for a bit? I think she did stay for a bit, but it was just like, she was very terrified of him, she was very scared, and she wasn't much of a talker as well. She used to really like me. I remember, like, she used to be like, Marian, what did she used to say? Marian Ron, Marian Ron. My mom called me this nickname, Marian Qas. Qas means unique, right? It's like uniqueness. So my mom called me Marian Qas. And I remember when I was like 6, my mom said, Ayan's name is Ibado. Ibado is an old Somali name. And now that I've grown up, I've learned to like appreciate the old names like Ibado, you know. My sister is very, mashallah, like I can't lie to you, I really look up to her. Allahumma barik. Like she's such a good, like she's such a practicing Muslim, mashallah, and it's just so easy for her. So her nickname was Ibado, and my name was Marian Qas, Marian Unique, right? But the name Qas sounded so ugly to me, and I remember crying to her and just be like, no, like don't call me that, don't call me that, don't call me that. And she'd be like, Marian Qas, Marian Maga Qur'an wa Marian Qas, and I'd be like, no, 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 you know, like don't call me that, don't call me that, because I was always very like I had so much life in me as a kid. Like I was, every child does, but I'm just saying, like I was very helpful to my mom. Like, also, like I would get her things, I would help her. Like I learned how to cook at a very young age, you know. And I'm not talking about amazing cooking. Like I'm talking about like scrambling eggs and stuff like that. But like I was very helpful to my mom. And many of the women that my mom was friends with, like sometimes they used to call me like Marian Roon, Marian Qas, Marian, like, you know, they used to be like, Gabanan Hayi, why Hayi means like strong, you know, like strength. So I guess all those things that they said about me actually did end up turning out to be my characteristics, because I am very strong. I guess it makes sense now. So they stayed with us, right, for a few weeks, and then after that they used to come and visit us sometimes. And he left when they came, so he would come sometimes and they would sleep in that room, that black room with a white X. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. You know, sometimes I genuinely believe that some people are like possessed by demons, you know. I'm not even joking. Like it's either they have like, it's either some people are sociopaths or psychopaths, or it's like they might have some spiritual issues. I can't even lie to you, because it's crazy to me, you know. I don't know, like this guy was just not, his vibe was just not, it wasn't giving it. It wasn't giving. So the auntie was staying with us. She seemed very relaxed when she was with us. You know, he would come round, like he would like grab her in front of us. Like when my mom wasn't, like if my mom was like not there, like he would like grab her and then he would like grope her, like he would touch her like in front of us, like, and we would just be like, what the hell, like I've seen that before, you know. And I was just like, we would like look through the door and then I would see him like just like being very forceful to her, like trying to grab her arm, trying to grab her, like, you know. And like she was just very like this, like, you know. I was like, this guy is very strange. This is, you know, what's going on with this guy? Like, why is he here, you know, and what's going on? So they ended up moving, and that's when we started hearing things like he's beating her up and stuff like that. And by this time I must have been like, I think 12, 13. So I would hear like my mom speaking to her on the phone. You would hear from like my family, you know, that, oh, he beat her up again, like, you know, she has a black eye and this and this. Like she would come and stay with us sometimes, her and her daughters. And it was just very, very, very sad to see that. Like when I asked her more about her story, because as I started growing up, you know, whenever she would see me, I would say to her, oh, Habarir, like, you know, when you grew up, how was it like? She was like, I think she said she grew up without a mum. And then when she was a kid, her dad was really ill and she used to take care of him. And then her dad basically passed away and she was there when he passed away. So she had to witness that. From what I sense is like, I saw that this auntie didn't have any adult role models growing up, or she might have seen other things that made her think that these things are acceptable, maybe, and it's something that it's still like he loves me, you know, because she did love him so much. Like still till this day, a few years back, because I don't really talk to that family much anymore, because the girls, the middle child that I loved as a kid ended up becoming really like dysfunctional, and she doesn't, obviously, I really hope she heals, but she's very like, she'll even wish death upon someone, or she'll wish, like she'll just say some really horrible thing, and I just don't want that around my kids, you know. And also she started like abusing alcohol, you know, a lot. One time she did knock at my door, you know, and she was drunk and my kids were sleeping, and she came to me and I just said to her, you know, you can't keep doing this, you know, like, and I don't, there's just certain things I just don't want around my children. This is not to say that I'm perfect, but I just feel like I understand the impact that it can have on children, because there's some things that I've seen that still till this day, it has affected me. And if someone's not willing to deal with their own stuff or have consideration for you and how you live your life, then you can't be around that person. It's so sad because I know these people and I know what they went through, like as a kid, like I know what they went through. And I really pray to Allah that inshallah, there's that whoever needs to heal heals, and whoever needs to heal from their trauma, that they actually heal from it, because it's hard, man, honestly. Like it's a very difficult situation to think about. Yeah, so she would have black eyes, like he would bruck her up, and I don't even understand, like the kids probably used to see that, and I feel so bad now that I think about that. So they would break up and they would get back together, they would break up and they would get back together, and she would come to us, she would stay with us sometimes. The final last straw was when I was around about, again, 14, right? Or maybe I'm trying to find the timeline of how old I was, but this is the ages, but it might not be the precise ages. So when I was like 13 going on 14, because all of this happened in this span of time. When I was like 13 going on 14, I remember he got very angry with her and he grabbed Mindy, chased her around with it, and then she went to the window to ask for help, and this time she was 4 months pregnant. And then wuxuu ka tuuray, maxaa la dhahaa, daaqada wuu ka tuuray, ama the balcony, either the daaqada or the balcony, because I wasn't there to witness it, but I know that this happened because everybody was school at Imada, and like she ended up coming and staying with us. I think he went into hiding, but I know for a fact that he ended up escaping, and now he's in Somalia somewhere. He's not even in prison. Guys, he's not in prison. This guy went to Somalia, and he even messaged one of his daughters one time and saying to her, I'm gonna off you, I'm gonna da 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 da. Guys, parents like this actually exist, and if you're watching this, maybe you've also experienced like a very difficult parent, or a parent who's actually quite dangerous to you. They went their separate ways after that happened, and then this auntie, straight after, I think it was like 6 months or maybe even less, she got married. I remember going to her wedding, and it wasn't even a big wedding, like it was a house party thing. And yeah, I just remember going and seeing her there. But after that thing happened to her and she got thrown off the balcony, she had to go to the hospital. The baby in Alosha obviously wasn't alive anymore. And then when she came to see us, she had like broken arm, like black and blue everywhere. And I was just looking at her. I didn't even know that, like I didn't understand, I think at that time, this type of domestic abuse. Like I didn't get it. But I just remember seeing her like with a black eye and all of this. The attachment that she had to this person must have been like a Stockholm syndrome, because she was still saying, I love him, I love him. So it's like when an abuser hurts you, they tell you they love you and stuff like that, and then they hurt you. Some people start to feel brainwashed and think to themselves, I love this person. There's this Somali story that my mom told me called, there's this guy called Jibril and a girl called Makai. And Jibril looked like a beast, and he used to live in the woods. And Makai was a young girl, and she went out with her sisters one time. I don't really remember this story properly because my mom's an amazing storyteller, you guys. Oh my God. Like I used to lie down on her booty, right? This side of her bum. I used to lie down and she would tell us stories, and we would all gather around her, all of us 7 kids, like, and she would be like, Manta sheka harir, Manta waxa dhacayo. And we used to be like, oh my God. It was the best ever. Like we were just like, my kids love it when I tell them stories as well. So it has rubbed off on me. There's this guy called Jibril, and he was like a beast looking human. He ended up living in the woods because I don't think he could live in society because he was very like scary looking. And then there was a girl called Makai. This is a fake Somali story tale, right? I don't even know if it's fake, to be honest. She went to the woods with her sisters, and he ends up abducting her, and he holds her captive. And then she tries to run away. Everybody's looking for her for years and years. They can't find her. She tries to run away, and then he gets her back. And basically this guy is obsessed with her. Like he has to keep her with him. And then what he does so that she doesn't escape is, after that, he sat her on the chair. She didn't have Laura left, so she couldn't really run away. And he was with her for a few years. He was taking care of her. I think she had kids with him. Please tell me, guys, if any of you know of this story, Jibril. And her brother ends up finding her and taking her And while he's taking her, she starts crying and she starts saying, please, please don't take me. This is my husband. I love him. This is my love. Like, don't take me from him. This is so scary when I think about it. But she was like, please, please, you know, like, you know? So she had Stockholm syndrome, basically. And then she still loved him till the end. Like, I think her brother ended up unaliving Jibril, which was the beast human. He ended up taking his sister away. He basically made a gumbar maladaha. Like, I don't know, it's like a small little seat that Somalis sit on, gumbar. I'm gonna put a picture of it up here. But basically, he made her a gumbar made from the guy's skin, Jibril's skin. I think it was as a way to like show some form of like power, like that he killed him, basically. And she used to sit on it. But she used to sing this song like Jibril hoy Jibril and Makai hoy Makai. She used to hear in her head him saying Makai hoy Makai, and she used to say Jibril hoy Jibril. And I don't know the song, but my mom was singing that and I was just like, oh my God, so scary. The end of the story, my mom told me, I don't know if my mom added this bit on, but it was so funny. She said the girl ended up farting in the seat and then basically she flew up like, and then she was like, that was the end of it. And we were like, oh my God, like Jibril, like it was so weird because it was like, it's actually a true depiction of what abuse can do to you or what abduction can do to you. It's you get attached to this person, you get attached to your abuser, and then you feel like you love this person, but in reality it's an attachment, and it's a very unhealthy attachment, dangerous attachment sometimes, you know. And you can see this as well from people who are held captive and then they feel guilty to run away, or like they think they can't run away. Yeah. I'm so sorry guys, I just had to stop there for a bit to just do some research. But there's this theory by this guy, I think his name was Pavlov, and he had these dogs, right? So he done something called classical conditioning. What he would do is he would ring a bell and then he would bring food, and then the dogs would start salivating and they would eat the food. And then it got to a point where he would ring the bell and food wouldn't come, and then dogs would already start salivating. They would start like already dribbling like food is coming, right? So they associated the bell with them getting food, and immediately they started dribbling because the food is coming. So their mouth started to get wet a little bit. So anything that you condition into a person, it can be easy for them to actually associate. So if you hit someone, for example, and you've been hit your whole life, it's no surprise that you're going to go and seek out a partner who's going to hit you as well, or who's going to abuse you or hurt you in some way. It's not as easy as people make it, like, oh, like you did this, like how did you do that, da, 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 da. No, you need to heal the core wounds in order for you to stop attracting those things. And it's a process, you know. You could still I mean, if you're someone who's a light being, someone who's just like someone who's very bright, right, and who's very attractive, and it's not just beauty, it's like you have knowledge, you have this, you have a great charismatic personality, you will attract the dark and you will attract the light as well. And the important thing is to learn how to navigate through it. But if you were exposed to a lot of dark people growing up, when you grow up, your body won't be able to tell whether this person is bad or good, because this is something that's been normalized to you growing up. So your body won't tell you. It's almost as if your body shuts out that part. And when it comes to healing, it's a process. Like, I can't even lie to you, the other day I was crying. So it's not like healing from childhood and core wounds could take years, it could take a year, it could take you don't know how long it's going to take. It's important that we focus on our own journeys, and because the time limit, only Allah knows the time limit. You don't know the time limit, I don't know the time limit. But anyways, I'm going to end this story here, guys. If you like story times like this, please click like, comment and subscribe. You know what to do. And inshallah, engage with me at the bottom. Love you. Bye.